Okay, let's see. Should be live. Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't look like why. Right, here it is. Okay, I don't need feedback. By the way, I have great earbuds by Jabra. This is my third pair. They were working really well. So you could say this video is brought to you by Jabra. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. But they make really great headphones or earbuds. I haven't actually tried the other stuff. Only those. Yeah, I forgot what they're called. Just can look them up. They not sure how popular they are, but they seem to work real well because I tried pretty much anything under the sun, and those are the best for me. But yeah. So start in a sec. Just see if anyone wants to join in, talk about biomedical data, web development. Yeah, we're using, what are we using? In here, Pandas, Plotly, Numpy. Yeah, I don't know. LinkedIn started always suggesting me posting in groups, all sorts of groups, data scientist and analyst, public group, whatever. So yes, why not? Don't see the post though. Hopefully comes up now because it's a live stream. Doesn't look like, but okay. Maybe it will appear in a bit. Sometimes it needs to be approved by someone, but that kind of defeats the purpose of doing things real time live. Yeah, I don't see it yet. Doesn't matter. Can close that. Just check that everything's working okay. We'll continue from where we left off, still on this EEG review tool. That one on the website doesn't work. Hopefully a working version will appear. It should look like this, just with the logo and everything. Right, I don't know what's up if it's loading in the default color all combined. This is the default version separated by 2000. You can change this number to 0 when they overlaid, or slightly separated all the way to 4000. 2000 is default. Can group by side, so they're overlaid 8 channels on the left, 8 channels on the right, overlaid on top of one another. This recording has a seizure. You can see it over there. That's again the off default, separated by that value. And you also have overlay all, which essentially is same as the off default with separation of 0, which makes me think you probably should get rid of. It's not really required there, but we'll keep it there for now, and we'll go from there. And this thing works pretty well. Yeah, and you can obviously double click. It will just show you that one. Single click will hide the channel, and double click, say this one. Ooh, do like a triple click. Double click will show you just that channel alone. Yeah, and then you can add another channel. So for example, if you want to compare left, click on it, double click on it, and right one. It will show you the two channels side by side, and it won't adjust the separation. Right, so that artifact is visible on both channels, but the seizure is not. So that's the artifact, that's the seizure starting on the left, and it's clipping, probably. I don't know if it's a motion. So the subject is seizing. And then I don't know if those seizures also transfer to the right side as well. Not quite clear. Yeah, it looks like. We'll have another tool. Yeah, we already had it. We'll bring it back, make it work again, make Barney Chaos great again. We had another tool that shows us you can select two channels. It will show you cross correlation between two channels. So that will show you essentially how much two channels are similar or different. So you can see, yeah, there's something happening there, which is similar on both channels, but the cross correlation and auto correlation, whatever version we use, should give you more info on that. So what are we gonna do today is improve this tool and hopefully publish it on the site so it's available for you to play around with. Let's see, what do we need to do to make it all happening. Pretty happy with it. I could have published it already, but we'll do a few more iterations with ChatGPT, see what the bot can do for us, and then we pop it on the site. So let's see, what do we have in the project? Okay, so now let's start GPT first. So we should be using 3.5 just to try not reach our quota. Yes, by the way, this was added recently. Browse with Bing. So essentially GPT-4 is now connected to the internet using Bing. Tried it yesterday for a bit, but nothing extraordinary. Advanced data analytics is where you can actually upload files, images, so on and so forth. We won't be using that. We did try some plugins that are a bit hit and miss. This Scholar AI seems like the data that's being trained on the amount of papers is limited. Well, at least it didn't have my earlier papers in it. It wouldn't even mention them, the topics. So it's obviously was trained on some sort of narrow subset of all Google Scholar or whatever it was trained on. YouTube summaries didn't work because my videos are too long, so it actually will refuse to summarize anything above 30 minutes. And Codulator, we use it quite a bit. Yeah, we'll give it a break for now. So just use default GPT-4. Let's no, we don't need that. This to-do file. By the way, I have no idea why this to-do has this different icon than a regular text file, but okay. Yeah, we have those files. The data is in text file. That's fine. Issues to solve. Let's see. Yeah, we don't like how it loads to begin with. So when loading the page, the color, what's it called? Color, that is color array. A const. Oops. I'll close this for a sec. A const colors is not being used when loading the page the first time. The page. Yeah, so when this thing loaded, instead of the colors that we selected, we have this some sort of default. Instead, some default colors are used. Yeah, correct colors are, let's see, correct colors when reloading page. Sorry, we should have been in network. Wait, let's try this again. So loading the page, yeah, that's okay. Get plot. Right, so the first time around, let's try this again. First time around, the get plot is not loading correct data. And it seems like, so get plot data is obviously being loaded twice. Sorry for the birds, by the way. If you have any bird filter, I'm more than happy to utilize it. Get plot data is called multiple times the colors are loaded correctly only the second time get plot data is called. Right, let's save this. Yes, this has some context on the project and the issues to solve. Let's actually start get GPT-4 doing something because we're actually paying for it.
It appears you have a Flask application for visualizing intracranial EEG data, including features for interactive exploration of the data. You also listed a couple of issues that need to be addressed. Below are the steps and possible solutions for fixing the issues. Identify the root cause. Open the EEG.js file and inspect where and how the const colors is defined and used. Also, check where the default colors are coming from. Initialization issue. Ensure const colors is initialized before it's used. Asynchronous loading issue. If data or elements that rely on const colors are being loaded asynchronously, ensure that they are only rendered or accessed after const colors is fully loaded and initialized. Reorder the script. If it's an ordering issue, reorder the scripts or functions to ensure const colors is loaded first. Event listeners. Use event listeners to wait for the DOM content to be fully loaded before applying the colors. Identify the root cause. Determine why get_plot_data is being called multiple times. It might be due to some asynchronous operations or event triggers that are not controlled. Possible solutions. Debounce or throttle. Implement debounce or throttle to control the frequency of function invocation. Flags, states. Use flags or states to check if it's the first load, and based on that, manage the color loading. Check asynchronous calls. If get_plot_data is an asynchronous function, ensure it's being handled properly, maybe with promises, async, wait, or callbacks. State management. Manage the state of the application to recognize the first load and subsequent loads. In EG.js, make sure that const colors is defined and initialized before being used, like. You can implement a flag to check if it's the initial load.
Okay. So we see a few problems. So yes, it's suggesting us to do the DOM content loaded, the event listener. We are doing it, however, the event is declared but not being used. I think that's a problem. So essentially, this loop for the event is not actually working. That might be a problem. Well, from here it's obvious that the first time get plot data is being called, we're actually getting no data. Some default colors and options are being loaded, which is not what we want. We already described it to the bot. Yeah, this one. Again, sorry for the birds, pretty noisy. Yeah, I don't think this has anything useful. But it seems like get plot data is running twice. The first time it's actually seems like it's not a get request, which is a bit of a problem. Get plot data. Get plot data. Just say hello in the chat, just in case someone wants to say hi. Right, get plot data. Wait a sec, where's the actual function? I meant to be a function. So get plot data is actually in Python. It's returning a JSON. Is it possible that the structure of this thing is incorrect? So get plot data is in JSON file, in Python code, returning JSON. Then we have fetch. It's a long fetch. Get plot data. Going all the way. Why is it so long? Resize. Sorry for the birds. Saying there's a bird filter, audio filter. Be more than happy to utilize it. At the moment I'm using some filter in OBS, but yeah, it's reducing some noise, but I'm sure it's not able to remove this much noise. Let's see first what it said the first time around.
Your current Flask endpoint, get_plot_data is structured well for basic operations. It attempts to create a plot figure and returns it as JSON. If there's an error, it prints the error and returns a 500 status code with the error message. Here are a few suggestions to improve it, considering the issues you mentioned. Since you mentioned that get_plot_data is being called multiple times and only applying the correct colors on the second call, you might want to add logging to trace the calls and figure out why this is happening. As for the color issue, since it's not clear from the provided code snippet where and how the colors are applied, ensure that the colors are being applied correctly within the create_plot_figure function or wherever it's meant to be applied. Client-side handling. Check the client-side JavaScript to ensure it's handling the received data correctly and applying the colors as expected. Session or cache. If the color application depends on some session or cache data, ensure that it's being initialized and accessed correctly. Data integrity. Check the integrity of the data being processed and sent to the client.
Yeah, some generic advice.
Your JavaScript code for fetching and plotting the data looks mostly good. Here, I'll review and suggest some improvements or considerations to ensure optimal performance and address the issues you're facing.
That's suggesting some debugging. Why is it asking for colors? Pretty sure we have some console logging already. Ah, yeah, so this one is there. Can have some more. Debugging colors. This is printing the JSON data, surely. Surely no. Oh, wait. JSON data passed. Let's reload. It's also getting a few. Ah, no, the errors are okay, because, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, the first time that thing is. So the colors are there. No, so. Where is that network? Get plot data seem to be running only once, but something is loading the data the first time around. Let's read this for a second.
Thoroughly test the application, paying attention to the console logs to understand the flow of execution and data transformations. Also, reviewing the associated server-side code and ensuring that it's providing the expected data in the expected format is crucial. Ensure both the client-side and server-side work harmoniously for optimal performance and user experience.
So this is the server-side stuff.
Your
This is
Python
the
code using
front
Flask for
end.
serving a plotly plot is mostly well structured. Here are a few suggestions for improvements and optimizations. Hard-coded file path. Avoid using absolute paths for. Avoid using absolute paths for your DAV files. This can lead to issues when moving the code between different environments or systems. Consider moving the data to a folder within the project directory and use relative paths. Commenting the code effectively is essential for maintaining readability. Ensure that the code is commented adequately, explaining the why and how of complex or crucial parts of the code. Error handling. Good use of try except for error handling in the get_plot_data function. Consider also logging the full traceback to get more insights into what caused the exception. Unused code. Clean up commented out code if it's not needed to maintain code readability. The variable names are mostly descriptive, which is good practice. Always ensure variable names are descriptive enough for someone else, or future you, to understand the code easily. Configuration. Consider.
Or future you.
Consider storing configurations like file paths, points per second, start time, etc. in a separate configuration file or environment variables, making it easy to manage and modify configurations without changing the code. Loading data with Pandas is efficient, but depending on the dataset size, it might be optimized further, for instance, by selecting specific columns to load if not all are needed. It seems like the entire plot is being recreated and sent to the client each time new data is requested. Consider if this can be optimized to only send the updated data, reducing the amount of data transferred and processed. Log the full traceback to get more insights. Logging. Consider using Python's logging library instead of print statements for a more flexible and robust logging. Security. Always consider the security implications, especially when handling file paths and user inputs, to avoid vulnerabilities like path traversal, etc. Testing. Implement tests to ensure the application works as expected, and to quickly identify issues whenever changes are made. Documentation. Document the code and usage effectively, providing information on the setup, usage, and any configurations needed. Overall, your code is on the right track. With some optimizations and improvements, it can be made more efficient, readable, and maintainable.
Right, and that was the Python code. I didn't mention anything about... right, no, it's okay. Yes, we do. Define the base directory. Add a file path. Yeah, we definitely want to do that because later we'll have a problem with the Flask application. Yeah, let's copy that. This is not used. Why is it not highlighted? That it's not actually used. Don't know. So assumingly this should work. Yeah, we want a dynamic file path. Let's see if it still works. Right, it still works. So we have the EEG, has the seizure in it. Everything here works as well. Group by side works, overlay all works. The only thing I'm trying to fix is improve the code, but also when the page is loading, we don't want those colors and this default overlaid option. Wanna get plot data to have all the data. So fix the, instead of hard-coded path, we're using this relative path. Yes, we want to improve we want to improve error handling. Well, we actually have to, because we have a problem with that function. So we're already doing that. Can get rid of this. Now if there's an exception, doing that and printing the full traceback. Should be useful, and returning error of 500. Right, it's additional consideration. So that should be fine. Let's move on to the JavaScript. We expected to pick up on this event as declared, but its value never read. So we want to fix this. Yes, I know those prompts are too long, and yes, eventually I'll get timed out.
Your JavaScript code is well structured and seems to be handling the task of fetching, processing, and visualizing the EEG data effectively. Here are some improvements and optimizations that could be considered. Code cleanliness and readability. Consider breaking. Consider breaking down the code into smaller, well-named functions. It will improve readability and maintainability. Use comments judiciously to explain complex or crucial parts of the code. Error handling. The catch at the end is a good practice, but you can enhance error handling by adding more specific error types and messages to guide the debugging process. Consistency in code. Ensure consistent use of quotation marks, either single or double, throughout the code. Refactor code into smaller functions. Breaking down into smaller functions for better readability and maintainability. Here's an example of how the update separation function can be refactored. Enhanced error handling. Adding more specific error handling can be beneficial. Color application issue. Since the colors aren't applied correctly the first time, it's crucial to pinpoint where the issue originates. Add more console logs or breakpoints to track the color application process. Code comments. Enhance the code with comments explaining the logic, especially in complex sections. Asynchronous operations. Ensure all asynchronous operations are handled effectively to prevent unexpected behaviors. Performance. Depending on the dataset size and user interaction intensity, consider optimizing the code to handle large datasets and high-frequency user interactions efficiently. By making these improvements, the code can become cleaner, more readable, and more manageable. Also, addressing the color application issue with more detailed debugging can help pinpoint and fix the issue effectively.
First of all, do I even have any async? I don't think so. Oh, what are they called? This variable was also declared but not being used. Okay, do I have any synchronous operation? Also, is there any code that is declared but its value is never read? It's a question mark, of course.
Yes, you have asynchronous operations in your JavaScript code. The most notable one is the fetch function, which is used to make an asynchronous HTTP request to get EEG data from your server. Here's the asynchronous part of your...
I didn't know fetch is asynchronous. What we're trying to do is we have this Flask application, so using Pandas, Plotly, Numpy, and now traceback and OS, but that's normal. This is showing EEG. There's some details here of where the data is actually from. It's from IEG.org. I think it's a simple registration. You can get the data. Anyone can. Pretty sure. Then this snippet of 16 channel EEG has a seizure in it. So first we're just trying to display it properly. Later we'll be doing all sorts of more fancy stuff. Vivid. No right there. Let's reload this for a sec. Yeah, and we're having this issue when loading the page. There's some sort of default options that are being loaded, so the colors are incorrect and all the channels are overlaid, which is not what I want. I wanted to load like this on reloading the page as a default option. So somewhere it's essentially like loading the data twice, and the first time it doesn't have, for example, the colors array, so it's just using some default colors, which I really do not like. And this one is declared outside the function, so I suspect, yeah, there's some sort of back end, front end kind of incompatibility thingy going on, but I'm not sure. And ChatGPT is trying to fix this for us. So one thing, yeah, that we supposedly, I didn't know that fetch, it's actually asynchronous operation, and that's a problem because it seemed to be a problem. It could be a problem. Well, because I'm trying to the get plot data. Seems like the first time it's running, so like reload the page again in network mode. Don't know what that is. Doesn't seem to be related. Yeah, so the get plot data. Now this one suggests it's only loaded once. Oh, that's okay. By the way, those errors are fine. Wouldn't worry about them too much. At least not at this stage. Yeah, this also suggests that get plot data is only running once, and it does have the colors array. But the weird thing is that the data is being loaded essentially without these settings. So I suspect it's a problem in the yeah, I'm not sure.
Yes, you have asynchronous operations in your JavaScript code. The most notable one is the fetch function, which is used to make an asynchronous HTTP request to get data from your server. Here's the asynchronous part of your code. Fetch is used to make an asynchronous request to the server. Then is used to handle the response once it's received. Since the response needs to be converted to JSON, and this conversion is also asynchronous, another, then is chained to handle the actual JSON data. Catch is used to catch any errors that occur during the fetch operation or the subsequent processing in the then handlers. From the provided snippets, every declared variable and function appears to be used. However, there's one potential oversight. You attach a plotly underscore after plot event listener but don't actually do anything with it. Here's that part of your code.
And this will be at the end. And plotly update now.
In this code, plot data is declared and assigned a value but isn't actually used within the callback function or anywhere else. You might want to either utilize this variable for some purpose or remove it if it's not needed. Also, if the event listener doesn't perform any operation, consider whether you need to attach this event listener at all.
Okay, let's do this quickly.
Event listener usage. If you plan to use the plotly_afterplot event for something specific, for example, to update the plot or perform some other operation after the plot has been drawn, make sure to add the relevant code within the event listener's callback function. If not, you can consider removing this part of the code to clean up. Asynchronous operations handling. You've handled the asynchronous operation, fetch, well. Just ensure to add more user feedback mechanisms, like a loading spinner or a notification to inform users when data is being loaded or if an error occurs, improving user experience. Code comments. Always comment on the parts of the code that could be complex for readers, explaining what specific lines or blocks of code are doing, making the codebase more maintainable and understandable for others, or yourself, in the future. Variable usage. Regularly review your code to ensure that all declared variables and functions are necessary and used. It helps in keeping the codebase clean and efficient. Tools like ESLint can help automatically detect unused variables, among other things, in your JavaScript code.
How about this one? Or is it normal? It's actually needed. Potentially.
The warning event is declared but its value is never read. TS 6133 indicates that the event parameter is declared but not used in the function. In JavaScript and TypeScript, if you declare a parameter for a function but don't use it within that function, you might get a warning or error like this, especially when using linters or in development environments that highlight such scenarios. For example, consider this line of your code. Here, event is declared as a parameter but is not used inside the function. If you don't need the event object, you can safely remove it to eliminate the warning. If you intend to use the event object inside the function, just reference it in your code, and the warning will go away. If you want to use the event object, for instance, to prevent the default action of the event, add the respective code. This kind of error is typical when using ESLint or TypeScript, which checks your code for unused variables, among other things.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't think we... Should we just use it over there? This won't make much difference. So again, the problem is, let's put it in a different window. So the problem is when we're loading the page. Well, first it loads forever. Event. Yes, we have that event. Fetch response. We have the colors and everything. Hi Rohan. DOM is fully loaded, so that's working fine. Okay, what are we doing wrong? Doing something wrong. Yeah, it's working okay overall, except when loading the first time around. Yeah, it does this, and then loading the page again. And where's the prompt? So we still have the same problem. We can add to that What can we add to that? You mean the sign language recognition? Yeah, we're doing that. It's another project, which ended up only being. Can jump to that if you. Seems like you're an avid supporter of my channel. So I can quickly jump to the sign recognition project. Feature extraction. Where was it? Images, no. Video processing. Something to do. Let's search for it for a sec. So it was using sign. Sign recognition. Wait a sec, what was it using? It's the Google API, not an API, I wasn't using an API. So we were having a camera. It was a finger recognition. Let's search for recognition for a sec. Sources, no. Speech analysis, no. Anyway, I can't find it. It was something fingers. Right, this one. No. Let's be webcam. Check out webcam frames. Let me check this containing folder 1 sec. Just see which one was. Yeah, I had that. Media pipe. So media pipe. This big Google project thing. Yeah, it's this stuff that will find the landmarks of your fingers. Webcam face and hands. So this, oops. Webcam face and hands. Python, this go. Right, and we move to a different system, so we don't have MediaPipe installed. Okay, let's start in our chat for a sec. GPT-4. Yeah, we don't really need GPT-4 for that, do we? Oh. Yeah, it's just called media pipe. Open integrated terminal. Need to install media pipe for this error to go away. I hope that's what you meant. Because what you say, can you make one project on sign recognition? Yeah, I don't know exactly. Yeah, we were doing this for several live streams before. And yes, I'm happy to come back to it eventually. Hopefully in 5 minutes, you'll see, because I have two webcams, so I can use the other one to display the media pipe stuff. This takes a while. It's only 67 megabytes. Yeah, we're using this holistic model. It's some sort of Google's model. Okay, the error is gone. Hopefully my camera nothing. Why? Still doing that. Which camera is being used? Frame counter. Video capture 1. It's probably incorrect. Let's try 0. Yeah, now it's doing something with the camera. Yes, it's using the TensorFlow Lite delegate for CPU. Something with GPU, CPU. Suspect it's not the right camera. Let's try 2 for a sec. No. 0. Seem to have. Alright, that's it. I don't know why the delay. Why? Just put my CPU in higher performance. There's some sort of what's this error?
The message you are seeing, select, timeout, in the context of OpenCV and video capture from a webcam, typically means that OpenCV is having trouble accessing your webcam through Video 4 Linux, V4L2. This can happen for a variety of reasons, and it may not necessarily be a critical issue. Here are some steps you can take to address or troubleshoot the issue. Check the webcam connection. Make sure your webcam is properly connected to your computer and that it is functioning correctly. You can test it with other applications to ensure it is working as expected. Camera permissions. Ensure that your user has permission to access the webcam.
So it's either the camera permissions, otherwise it should work. Let me just restart the camera sign. Well, oh, come on. Yeah, it's Linux. Used to work on Windows. Can't believe I'll say something nice about Windows, but just restart the camera. camera index out of range. Well, right, because now it should be the second one. It's not on my website because this is not a web application. It's not Flask. I should turn it into Flask. Then I'll exactly show how it will work on in the browser. It won't be standalone. I don't want your face. Like there's some privacy concerns, obviously. So I really don't wanna video your camera footage going into my server. So that's the main reason why it's not on the site. I'm happy for it to work on the, it's possible because it's using, was it using the light version of, what's it called? Light version of whatever the model. Can't find it. Light, yeah, TensorFlow Lite. So in theory, this means that it should work on should work it should work in the browser, like standalone in the browser, but I haven't tested it yet. So yes, it's work in progress. Yeah, I don't know. Now it says having trouble with the camera. But yes, if verify camera connection, camera video capture. It's also suggesting update CV, OpenCV. You can try that, I'm pretty sure it is updated. Oh, it wasn't updated. It's already satisfied that it's installing something. Why? Yeah, okay, that's right. It's weird. The OpenCV Python defaulted using such because normal site pictures not writable. Okay, why not? Requirement already satisfied, but then it's still downloading. Okay. So it's still there. Let's try running it again. It's also start package. We'll get back to this in a sec because this is what is going on my site next. Yes, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but that will also mean that all the other stuff on the website will go back working again. One of the most popular ones was this EEG noise removal. So it's a noise removal from EEG signals. What's left from it is a YouTube video. The backend for this doesn't work at the moment. As you can see what it was doing, and hopefully after we fix this one, we'll then onto that noise reduction as well. But yes, the finger recognition is also biomedical data related, so it would be nice to have an example on this side as well. Yes, we stopped paying Copilot, GitHub Copilot. That's okay. Oh, seem to be getting really nervous. Like, oh, you still pay. How camera index out of range. I have two cameras. They both seem to be running. I'll check the range. Yeah, I'll get you going as well, so I'll move back to what we were doing before, which was this. Then, by the way, eventually, I also have a script that automates video editing. So hopefully those live streams will be just cookie cut, chopped into multiple videos. Using another AI to actually explain each part in the longer videos. So eventually I could, yeah, so some content will be automatically generated. Hopefully that's okay by you. But going back to this before we actually publish it, just trying to fix this one little thing. Just start jumping around with it. Bloody camera. Something is accessing the camera. Right now it's off. That's weird. Should go back. Camera index out of range. What? Because there are two cameras. One should be 0, one should be 1. Okay, we're in business. It's a shame Rohan left. It seemed to work now. Well, I can always view it offline. And I can... this window is not scalable. Let's stop working now. Can add this video into the stream on my right. I'll move myself a bit to the right so there's more space, and I'll pop the face with the hands. I should be talking more with my face, with my hands, so I can actually see how it's working in my OBS. Just show you OBS just in case potentially interested in that. Probably not, but I'll show it to you anyway, because this is what I do. Window. Bye. Is that window called? No. No, that's something else. Image, no. Browse, no. Audio, no. See. Oh, come on. Screen capture. Should be window capture. Ah, right. So it should be one of those. Show which one's which. It's called, forgot what it's called. Face, call it detector. Face detector. Frame. Share. Right. So now it's in the window. Shouldn't have. Pop it. Just do this. It should pop up. And next to me. Actually, let's. It's a shame Rohan left because it just started working. Right, so I have my face in there, hands and all. Let's see what the screen. Yeah, the screen is large. Right, so that's screen. Ah, it's that camera. It's the second. Camera is not facing me. Right, it's better. Sorry, it's a bad stand, camera stand. Yeah, right, so this is for Rohan, who already left. We will keep it there just in case it comes back. Is this thing transparent? No. No, it's not transparent. And I also learned if I minimize this window, I think it will stop working. So I have to keep it going. Right, so that's that. Yeah, I didn't know people were interested in it. That's great. We already went over 1 hour, so we might just take a break.